Welcome to the My Makery tutorial in knitting a cable. So a cable is where you have stitches that you take across each other. And there's all sorts of ways of doing this. And this is showing you the cable also incorporating a knit below stitch. So I was always really frightened of cabling, and I don't actually own a cable needle. Quite often I'll use just a straight double pointed needle. I have been known to use a pen if I've had nothing else to hand, but I wouldn't recommend it. But I'm going to show you how to do it on a crochet hook which comes supplied with the kit. It's actually much simpler than it appears when it's written down. There's cable forwards and cable backwards, and all that means is it's telling you whether you're taking the row of stitches forwards, so you can see this one is going in front of this row, or whether you're taking the stitches back, and you'll see this one is going behind this row. So we'll start with a cable forwards. So I'm going to bring this row of knit below ribs over the top of this lot, and I'm going to use my crochet hook with the hooky end nearest my hand. And the reason for that is I'm going to pop these two in because it will say KF2, which means you've got to take 2 stitches off, and it just adds us a little bit of security. They're not going to fall off with any ease, and you just pop them in the front. Okay, so next I need to move these two over, so I'm going to purl this one, I'm going to knit below this one. And ordinarily in my patterns I ask for a nice loose tension, but cabling isn't one of those times, so you just want to be pulling things tight. And the reason for that is otherwise you'll just end up with big old holes in your work. That actually isn't the end of the world. If you find that you have ended up with a few light loopy bits, you just simply come back with a needle and just sew them in. But to avoid that, just pull tight. So I've gone into the knit below. So I've gone in there and I just do a regular knit below stitch and I pull tight. And now I need to knit these ones I've kept in front. So this one here is a purl stitch, this one here will be a knit below. So I'm going to bring the yarn to the front, I'm going to purl this stitch, pop him off, take the yarn to the back and then do my knit below. So I pulled him tight. Now what I tend to do with these knit below cables is I use my finger to just help things along a bit. So I go in there, but you'll see my finger is in the stitch with the needle, just to keep things clear. And then I just keep the stitch open to help me pull that stitch off. Then I pull tight and I'm going to do some purl stitches, and the first stitch after that cable again wants to be tight. And now we're going to take this row of knit belows behind this row of knit belows. So again we're working 2 stitches, hooky end nearest my hand. I just take these stitches off, and this time I hold them to the back of the work. I'm going to purl this stitch, knit below this stitch, and again I'm going to pull tight. So it's my purl stitch, and again I'll pull tight. And then my knit below, yarn goes to the back, knit below, and again if you need to just keep that stitch open either with your finger or your thumb and pull tight. taking the stitches off this needle then onto the main needle. This one will be a purl, this one is a knit below, so we purl, and then this knit below can be a little bit tricky, and this is where holding it open really comes into its own. I pop it in, still my finger is there, I do the knit stitch and I'm just easing, so I'm holding it open so I can get that stitch off. The next stitch is a purl stitch in this pattern, and again you just pull things tight. Okay, and there you go. So you keep going as the pattern directs all the way to the end, and then you will purl the next row. And just as a word, like I say, just for this row your tension will be a weeny bit tighter, so when you come across a cable you'll just pull it a little bit tighter. And as you can see, it's not half as scary as it looks on paper, and you end up with a nice finish.